What it do, bruh? Talk of the town, Nintendo, Doc Trey still holding it down, still make the best games, and you know this, bro. It's the truth. If you don't like it, you can have that seatbelt.
Okay, so last week it was leaked by PlayStation Game Size that Call of Duty Black Ops and Call of Duty Black Ops 2 was found on the PlayStation Network's back end. And that hinted that there would be some kind of new remaster or new port to the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, and possibly to the Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Switch 2. Well, today, Treyarch officially announced that that is indeed the case, and that the original Black Ops and Black Ops 2 will be ported to the PlayStation next month, courtesy of Iron Galaxy, and that these ports would include the campaign, multiplayer, and zombies. So it's the full experience here. It's not just the campaign only, which a lot of people were worried about. So it's a complete game, and this is either a straight up port or a slight remaster, right? So Iron Galaxy is the company that's in charge of these ports. And because Treyarch only announced that it's coming to PlayStation, is leading a lot of people to assume that this is a PlayStation exclusive. But I'm not sure, and I don't think that that is actually the case. I'm going to explain to you why. First off, it probably would not be announced for Xbox simply because Xbox already has backwards compatibility with these two games. And it would probably be included with Game Pass anyway. So if they're going to sell this new version of this game, they're going to highlight the version where they're actually, making money off of it. And we saw something very similar with what happened when Red Dead Redemption 1 Remastered was only announced for the Nintendo Switch and the PlayStation 4 with backwards compatibility on PlayStation 5. There was no Xbox remaster version because you could already play all these old Xbox games with backwards compatibility with enhanced visuals and performance. And that could be what's happening here. Also, another reason why the PlayStation version could be the only one announced is because that's the only one that's been leaked. Now, yesterday, I found something very interesting, but I didn't make the video on it because by the time I found it, it was kind of late and I wanted to go to bed. But I guess it's a good thing that I waited because what I found was pretty freaking interesting. So, yesterday, I found a LinkedIn for someone that worked for Iron Galaxy Studios from January 2023 to recently, April 2026. Now, Iron Galaxy, if you guys haven't been following them lately, they actually had a pretty significant round of layoffs recently, like within the last couple months. They actually even made like a LinkedIn post about it. And before that, probably like a year or so ago, they had more layoffs. So they've shrunken their team dramatically, which is also one of the points of this video because it means that they probably don't have the manpower to work on a lot of titles. Now, so what I found on this person's LinkedIn post is that they have an unannounced Switch 2 port graphics, right? Now, at first I thought maybe this could have been Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 because they actually worked on that game for the Nintendo Switch 2. But looking at this person's LinkedIn, they keep it pretty up to date. And I don't think they would have left this unannounced. They would have put which actual game that they're working on, especially since they don't even work for the studio anymore. So it says unannounced Switch 2 port graphics implemented the game's existing upscaling interface for Switch 2 DLSS to drastically improve GPU performance in both docked and handheld modes while minimizing visual quality loss. So they're telling you here that it whatever this game is, this is an already released game. This isn't nothing. This isn't a new game. That's why they said implemented the game's existing upscaling interface with DLSS. Okay, so it says analyze GPU captures, traces, and platform-specific documentation to identify performance bottlenecks and took measures to improve performance, such as vertex compression, reducing shadow LODs, and reducing render target precision for handheld mode. Enabled initial rendering, combined place, and committed resources to work with the Switch 2's unique backend in context with pre-existing unified memory architecture initiation pass. So that's another thing there. Set in contact with pre-existing unified memory. They could be technically talking about, well, no. Forget that part. That might not be important. But look. So this is an unannounced Switch 2 port that's coming from Iron Galaxy, who Treyarch just announced is developing or developed, past tense, these newer versions of Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 for Treyarch and for Activision. This right here shows you that this is a port of an older game. But the thing that's interesting here is that it says that they implemented DLSS. So, obviously, the Switch 2 does not need DLSS for performance gains on a straight-up port of Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2. Black Ops 2 was on the Wii U. But if this is for Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2, if they use DLSS, that means that potentially this is a port of the PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 version that runs at either a higher resolution or a higher frame rate or both. Because these games on the original consoles were 60 frames per second, but they were 720p, and actually 720p and below, actually, if we're talking the native resolution. So if this is for Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2, that means that potentially the PlayStation 5 version of the game, maybe it's 4K 120 frames per second or something like that, because I don't think that they would need DLSS to run Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 on the Switch 2 unless it is at a much either a much higher resolution, or maybe they actually did, it is somewhat of a remaster and they did clean up the graphics or whatever. But yeah, it's not 100% confirmed that this would be Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2, but judging by what just happened in the announcements and the fact that their team size is relatively small now, and this is a project that they recently finished, yeah, it's more than likely Call of Duty. Could be something as rumored that Iron Galaxy denied. They're supposedly working on a remaster of like Fallout or something like that, so that could potentially be it too. But judging by this, it's more than likely Call of Duty. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Would you guys be picking this up on the Switch 2? Let me know.